Hey y'all, how y'all doing? It is hot as hell out here, and I'm trying to shoot my first video outside. I know my phone is about to be burning up after this. Hopefully we can shoot the whole video without my phone overheating, because we are outside and I am trying to get this good natural lighting, you know. And so my phone don't always like to cooperate with me when it comes to lighting, when it comes to sunlight, and when it comes to acting right, when it start getting hot. So we finna just get into this video. So today we're gonna be talking about why I feel like girls have it easier. Period. Got my list. Okay. I want to give a disclaimer. Now, I'm at a point in my journey where I don't like giving disclaimers, but sometimes I feel like I have to, because even though I feel like I have ascended to a certain point, I still have to somewhat relate to the 3D world where people can somewhat understand. I don't want to sit here and explain myself to anyone at this point in my life, but I will give a disclaimer so you can somewhat have an idea of where I'm coming from. My disclaimer is, this isn't the struggle Olympics. I'm not saying that I have it any better or worse than black women or women. I'm not saying that women don't have all kinds of issues, probably even more sometimes. But I come from a certain perspective where I'm a gay man, a gay effeminate, sometimes man, or I like to say butch queen, you know, half and half-ish. When it comes to my masculine and feminine, I'm pretty balanced, I like to say. But of course, anything that's not the toxic masculinity is considered effeminate. So I feel like I have to say that I'm feminine, even though I'm not necessarily always in my effeminate energy or whatever. But basically, that's a disclaimer. This is not the struggle Olympics. If you're watching this just to try to argue, I'd say don't watch this video because it's going to trigger you. But I have realized in recent days and months, and watching like content in this new era of content creators where we're focusing on, a lot of us are focusing on like positivity and the things we did in the past, like trying to be more aware and all that kind of stuff. I'm noticing like the videos that we are putting out as a collective now, well, the ones that are aware, we are having these conversations that we didn't have, or that we didn't see when we were younger, or we didn't have access to validate our experiences. So now that I'm older, I like to make these videos and stuff so people can relate and see that everything is not all black and white. Everything is not in this binary that we've been told that it is. On my little 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, we have the first thing I want to start with kids, when we were kids, and gender norms, gender roles. One way I feel like girls have it easier is girls are able to express themselves more. They can have more emotions. They are socialized to be more emotional. Now, that can be screwed into women are only emotional, just how we view stuff. That can be the case if that's how you look at it, but I see myself as a gay man, as a man that didn't necessarily associate or didn't necessarily align with the values that a boy was supposed to like and all this and that. I tended to run into issues when it came to this, because I was noticing that girls can do this, boys can't do this. Girls can play with dolls, boys can't play with dolls.
His dream house is a wish come true for both of you.
I've noticed that a lot of times girls can do quote-unquote boy things and it's okay. But if a boy does girl things, then no. That's a no-brainer, no. Don't pass go, do not collect 200. What the fuck are you doing? We're about to gender police you. Why are you not being a boy? But a girl just basically express themselves in more ways. And when you look at it from an older person's perspective, you can look at it like, well, both of y'all have the ability to do whatever you want to do, essentially. But you have to also think of it from a kid's perspective. We don't as a kid, you don't feed yourself, you don't do anything for yourself, and your parent is up here a lot of times. We see everything they say is right, even if it goes against what we internally know about ourselves or what we internally feel. Whatever they say, sometimes we will disagree, but for the majority of the part, whatever they tell us, we see that as the complete and utter truth. That is what this is as a kid. And what else did I have? Toys. I touched on that. And chores. So my perception on chores is a little bit different. One, because my family dynamic was a little different. So I had 2 older brothers. I'm the in the middle, and then my little sister. So it's like 4 of us. So when it came to chores, most of us, we all did different chores, if you know what I mean. But now that I'm a little bit older, once I got to middle school, high school, I was noticing that my sister, she could get the same, just something that I noticed ever since I was little. I think sometimes girls are seen, this may have to do with her being the youngest or whatever, but girls seem to, we have this perception of women, and some will say, yes, it's scientific, it's proven that women mature faster than boys, but not all women mature faster than all boys. So I felt like that kind of played a role into this, where it would be like a situation where, you know how you don't let your kids do certain things, you don't let your kids use knives, you don't want them to cut themselves, or you don't trust them enough to use the washing machine just yet, But I was noticing that whenever mind you, my sister's 3.5 years younger than me. I was noticing that when there was no explanation for why I can't use the microwave, then one day I finally used the microwave. Why is the next day she's using the microwave when you try to base everything on age? Now it's just get over it. Why can't both of y'all use it? And I feel like because my little sister was a girl, I'm not saying that she was more or less or anything more intelligent or anything. I just noticed that she just was allowed those privileges easier. She was more trustworthy because she was a girl. And so when I hit a certain point, she basically had those same privileges too. Within reason, of course. But yeah, that's just the basis of where these things start. So as an effeminate black man, a lot of times I see black women and women on the internet talking about how their experiences are horrid, and they are, I've seen it. But I think sometimes I can't tell a woman with our patriarchal society to see me as the person that's getting it worse. But sometimes I get it a lot worse than y'all. Think about this really quick. Y'all get looked at funny for how y'all dress. I do too. Y'all get overlooked a lot. I did too. As a more effeminate black man, I got overlooked too. Y'all face vitriol just for existing. Sound similar, sister? Sound a little similar? So, but a lot of times with me being an effeminate black man in the black community and just an effeminate man in this society, women, I don't think women completely understand that y'all have on the hierarchy of power. Even though I am a male, I'm not seen as a male because I'm more effeminate. Yes, I'm still seen as a male when it comes to what y'all want to pick and choose, when it comes to gender stuff. But essentially, a lot of people in this society do not see me as a man because I act or I just am a certain way. I'm a woman also, so I don't have whatever privileges, if you can say any, that women do have in this society. I don't have those privileges. And I'm not a man, so I don't have the man privileges. So ultimately, you kind of have in the whole power little dynamic, y'all have a little power over me, and I think that gets overlooked a lot. That's why I wanted to just give my perspective, because it's just for a long time I've just kind of shut up, because I do realize that women are having their own things going on, and they are dealing with different things when it comes to dealing with hetero men and all this and that. And I'm realizing the power structures that are at the same time, I have my experience, and a lot of people that are just like me have my same experience, where we're seeing now black women saying how they have it so hard, or women just in general saying how they have it so hard. And I'm not denying that, but like, why does nobody ever look at our experience and see it as harder? Yeah, you got y'all, this woman, whatever, may have got bullied for this, that, the other, but that woman could then turn around and bully my ass because I was gay. like, you know what I mean? Like, I have more enemies. You have a lot of enemies, but I have more enemies, in my opinion. Because you can become my enemy. You can become my enemy too, woman. Black women, you can become my enemy too if you want to, because deeply lined within our society, you can choose to have that power. But a lot of you all don't, because I feel like a lot of you all do know the experiences of feeling that lesson. So that's why I feel like a lot of times we, as gay men, we can relate to y'all more. Not because you're just a woman, but because of how you were socialized, of your experiences. We have a lot of similar experiences. It's not the same experience. No, and then even when it comes to the same experience, we all have different experiences, even in that sense. But then it gets to this point, which is the homophobic woman, the homophobic black woman that's homophobic to the gay man. Let's not even bring the Bible into this, because a lot of y'all don't read it anyway, so I'm not even going to use that for the basis of my argument. I feel like the reason that a lot of black women are homophobic and have these internalized homophobic ideas is because essentially at the end of the day, internally, you still feel like I chose this, if you know what I mean. You still feel like I chose to be an effeminate man, or a more effeminate man. I chose to stoop down to this level. Not saying, even though that is who I am, I feel like a lot of you all internally feel like I chose this. So what are you complaining about? You're still a man. You're a man. You still can have this power over me, when essentially I don't. When we really look at the cold hard facts and look at what's actually going on, I don't have that power over you, because I'm not even seen as a man most of the time. I'm seen as a man because of my physiology, but internally, a lot of people don't see me as a man. So what power do I really have over you? So I feel like ultimately a lot of women, well, some of them get jealous too, because then they feel like, well, damn, all these men are becoming gay now, even though that's who they are. So what do I have to choose from? You're seeing this man that ultimately went through all this vitriol and became his higher self and became an actual good person, but now you're upset because he's not heterosexual. You see the man of your dreams, but you can't obtain him because he is gay. Fuck this snake. Oh, fuck. Okay, y'all, I'm finna shoot the rest of this in the fucking house. Okay, bye. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm not finna let that snake run me in the house. But I'm basically take that snake as a sign from my ancestors that I was talking my shit and telling me to pop my shit. So I'm finna continue. But that snake scared the fuck out of me. He was timid, but I heard hissing, and I looked down. I looked at the snake looked at me. I bet the snake, it was green and black, so it was probably looking at me like, bitch, we twinning. And I'm sitting here like, bitch, you a snake. Get back. So basically what I was just saying, that touches to my point, which touches to another point that I made in one of my previous videos, which is basically a lot of women and men who grew up in the binary, that subscribe to our societal norms. A lot of times that hate for us queer people comes from, I signed this contract and I was promised love, marriage, success, kids, all the things that we are supposed to see as the goal in life, the things that are supposed to make us happy. Y'all also see this man that is living out some of the dreams that you wish that you could, but you feel like you can't because you're a woman. And for safety reasons, I know a lot of you all can't, but I challenge you to be yourself like I'm trying to be myself. I know there's risk that people may want to be violent towards me. I know there's risk that I may get killed out here one day. But what's not going to change is who I am, how I see myself. I'm not going to stop being myself. I'm going to wear what I want to wear, and I challenge women to do the same thing. But what I think gets intermixed in all of this is when some women do those things, then they become the outsider, like how I am and how people like me are. What the fuck is that? What kind of bug is that? But now they're seen as the outsider. Nobody wants to be the outsider. A lot of people wants to be in that in group. But me as a chosen one, I've been an outsider. I'm used to being an outsider. So that just gives me even more reason to just be myself. Because if I'm being myself, well, really, I feel like being yourself will really just pull. It's like a baby waltz. I don't know what the fuck. Anyway, being yourself will actually attract the people that you need in this life. The people that are meant for you to learn and see and know in this life. But to my point, what was my point? My point is, I guess the things that I actually did want to do and the things that I'm doing now, some of those things are more so women things. So, okay, now I guess I want to touch on encouraging now. A lot of stuff that I've wanted to do when I was younger and the stuff that I do now and the stuff that I still do right now that people will shy away from or look at me with eyes of hatred for, women are encouraged to do those things. And I feel like that always kind of bothered me. It always irked at my soul that when a Beyonce song comes on, you're around family and all the girls are dancing and everybody's encouraging them and this, that, the other. But if I was to pop my little gay ass out, I just know that I would face hate for that. Or if I didn't face it in front of the rest of the family, I would face it in my intermediate family when I got home with my mom and my dad. Chris, you showing out. Chris, why you doing that? Chris, why you dancing like that? So the stuff that I always deemed as like the stuff that I actually love doing and the stuff that I just like doing that society doesn't want me to do, women are encouraged to do those things. And then the same can go for the tomboy woman or the more masculine woman. She sees this man, he's encouraged to be violent, he's more encouraged to do all these things, and she may naturally feel those same emotions, but because she is a woman, she can't do it. And a lot of times I feel like we look at each other like, you want my life, I want your life. But essentially, I think the goal is to be happy within your life, because I feel like we've been told that there is this binary, you could be this or that. This is not to invalidate no one's experiences. This is not against trans people or anything like that. But we have to realize that there are our trans brothers and sisters over here. There are our heterosexual brothers and sisters over here. And then there are our everything. So like, I'm having a gay man's experience in a male's body. I identify as male. I use he, him pronouns. I do things that people may consider non-binary, but I do not consider myself non-binary. I consider myself a queer man. When we get into the whole titles and things of it, which I feel like can be important. And that's where I touch on, that's where I get back into like this 3D sense of the world. Like I use my titles to help me better connect with different people, find people, you know, just basically, because books can't be judged by their cover. They're judged with the words within. And a lot of times, so those words within are our titles, because essentially, with us being in the world that we are in now, we're not always around each other to be able to judge each other's character, to eventually find out, oh, this person likes men or women. So it's easier to just be like, oh, I'm gay, oh, I'm queer. Titles are okay in my opinion. If you don't choose to use titles, don't use titles, but don't get on other people for not, for wanting to use their titles and wanting to, you know, build community based off of those titles. But some girls are encouraged to do things do certain things when it comes to like more effeminate things, which include wearing dresses, wearing heels, playing with dolls, singing certain ways, liking certain music, wearing certain colors, talking a certain way, using hand gestures. But yeah, that's another way I feel like sometimes girls have it easy, that they don't quite realize, like, you can express yourself, like, you have the freedom to do this thing. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of women are still judged too for some of those same things, in the sense of, oh, she dancing like she fast. Like, sometimes I can only imagine if I was a woman, how I would be judged with who I am, with my sensuality. But to my point, I just feel like women just have it a lot easier in that sense. I think a lot of times women, I can't speak for women, I'm coming from my perspective, like I said, women, they can't look outside their box sometimes. And this is not for all women, but some women just cannot look outside their box, where it's just like, oh, I have more privileges than I thought I did in this sense. Like, oh, if I want to wear a dress one day, I can wear a dress. If I want to wear pants another day, I can. That's not universal for all cultures and all walks of the earth. But you understand what I'm basically saying. With my experience, the women that I've seen in the areas that I've grown up in the South, the Belt, the Bible Belt, all of that, is just my experience. And yeah, like I've been touching on this whole time, another point that I put on my paper, I don't know the complete experience of a woman. I can only guess, because I don't live in a woman's skin. I'm not a woman. I wasn't born XX, if that's what considers a woman at this point. I mean, not even at this point, but if that's what y'all consider a woman, I'm not, okay, this is the best way I can put it. I'm not perceived as a woman in this society. So with those perceptions and the way people treat me, I will never completely know how it feels to be a woman, but I do know how it feels to be a gay black man. I do know the vitriol, and I do see the similarities in our experiences. I can only imagine what it feels like to give birth. I can only imagine what it feels like to have a menstrual cycle. I can only imagine these things. Getting catcalled and stuff. I don't get catcalled as a gay black man. I'm not saying that it's not impossible, but it's just something I simply don't experience. Not saying that all women encourage the catcalling that they do get, or appreciate, I wouldn't even say appreciate, but I mean enjoy that catcalling or whatever. That's just something I just don't experience. Okay, I'm thinking about what I want to say next. Hey, nature versus nurture. So what I want to talk about on this part of the conversation is, are women socialized to act like women? Because before I even go over what I was about to say, or do some things come naturally, or are some of those things told to the woman, that's how you are supposed to act? Because essentially, naturally, what has been defined as a man, and what a man should value, and what a man should naturally feel, I don't always feel all those things. I naturally feel more nurturing. I naturally feel more motherly. It may be the Cancer in me, the water sign in me, and just my spirit. But at the end of the day, that doesn't align with what a man should be, basically. And it makes me wonder, are women essentially, women are women, period. Do women act the way that women act naturally? Yes, women may gravitate towards certain things more so, but were they pushed in those directions? Were they not seen another way to go? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I feel that's basically what I want to say about that. And it's just like, a lot of the stuff that we define as natural for a specific sex or gender, it really don't really match up, and it really don't make a lot of sense, because then when we look at the past and we see a lot of these things were switched the other way around. So those men weren't men then, those women weren't women then, you know what I mean? Like, and then it's just like, from my perspective as an aware person, I can look at what's going on now, what happened in the past, and see essentially what y'all saying is bullshit. I'm not gonna take what y'all saying and apply that to my life, like, oh, I'm just whatever person. I'm not making myself feel bad or whatever, because I know the bullshit. I see the bullshit. A lot of this stuff is just marketing tactics. A lot of American society is based off of marketing and making money. When you really, really think about the whole basis of it all, control and money. And money gives control in this society. So it's just like, when I look at all this shit, I look at the past, look at the kilts, look at the skirts, look at the men wearing makeup and women not wearing makeup here. Colors of the blue and the pink, that whole thing. Like, it really makes you look at me as a human experience. I don't have to align with any of these things if I don't want to. I just go with what my spirit tells me to do, what I feel like doing. That is not inherently wrong. It's wrong by y'all's books that y'all have created and said that this is the way you should act, and the signed contracts that y'all continue to uphold and sign and renew. But I don't subscribe to that anymore. I unsubscribe from that whole way of living and thinking. My closing message is, I love y'all regardless, but I'ma still pop my shit. So what I mean by that is, I love women. I appreciate women. I see what women have done in this society. But at the end of the day, if I want to do what y'all call women's things, I'm gonna do those things. That does not mean I'm trying to be like a woman. That just means that I like this thing. I like this adornment on my body that I consider male, or, you know, whatever. That does not mean that I want to be a woman, you know what I mean? That does not, me being myself does not take away from your experience. Me being myself does not make you any more or less of a woman. So stop the shit, stop the bullshit. Just join alliances with us. But then when I see the alliances and stuff, I realize that a lot of women, they still looking at things from the male's eye or the male gaze. And I'm trying my best not to trigger y'all, but it's my truth that the only way I can understand it I can understand a whole lot of perspectives and stuff, but in this moment, this is my truth. And that is, a lot of women still will want to be validated by the male gaze. So to be validated by that, a lot of times that toxic masculinely heterosexual, cis heterosexual man, red pill man, to appease to that, you have to make me your enemy. You have to also help him in tearing me down, because you still want to keep that contract up. And then that's when sometimes I get upset, but I don't say anything. I keep these perceptions to myself. But that's when I get upset with women who say they hate all these different things about society, and they hate this and that, but then it's just like you're picking and choosing, because yeah, you hate this and this and this, and you don't want to do this and this and this. But at the end of the day, you want this other part of the contract. You want the man to still provide for you. You still want whatever specific type of man, but you're not upholding your part of the contract. So that's where these men come in. They're like, well, she not doing her part of the contract, so I guess that means I ain't gotta do my part of the contract either. Which, I mean, I feel like that's where a lot of heterosexual straight people, that's where y'all's issues come from. Y'all make stuff a lot more complicated than it has to be. I keep feeling like I'm hearing another snake, and I hope I'm not. Basically, what I'm trying to say at the end of all this is, if you're saying you're one thing and you just really want the whole world to know some certain thing about you, and that you are this and you like this thing, double down on that. Have some integrity. Don't say fuck men and then turn around and go fuck men. You know what I mean? I don't know. I ain't trying to, I know how y'all like to tussle. I ain't trying to start nothing, but I'm just saying, like, don't pick and choose. If you want to uphold this contract that you signed when you were a little girl and that a lot of us still sign and subscribe to, go full in with it. Have some integrity about it. Don't pick and choose and then try to blame me or blame people like me for your problems that you essentially can change, that you can stop subscribing to like I did. But that's basically what I wanted to say. Jesus, these bugs of the outside. A lot of times my fear of the outside comes from bugs and creatures and creepers and crawlers. I'm glad that I'm done with this video. So, what I want you to do for me, this is what I'm gonna need you to do for me. I need you to like, I need you to subscribe, I need you to comment if you agree with me or don't agree with me. Don't insult me. But I implore you to share your perspective in the comments. Tell me how you feel on this topic. Email me how you feel about this topic. Email me your experiences. We can have a conversation about this. We can, relate. We can, just connect as humans if you want to. But essentially, before you do all of that, I just want you to like and subscribe. It's really easy. I'm noticing that my channel is becoming like a sit down talk type of channel, and that may essentially be what it is, but what I notice when I'm being authentic, it's going to change up. It's going to change up because I do more than just sit down and talk, but that's what we're doing right now. So like and subscribe. Okay. Yeah, if you want to unsubscribe, what they gonna do? And then when it comes to even what they could do, are you gonna live your life in fear of what they could do? You're gonna live your life in unhappiness, thinking about what could possibly happen instead of living your best life, being who you want to be, dressing how you want to dress, doing what you want to do. But that's all. This sun feels so freaking good, but I'm gonna go and start editing this video. And also, it's just something in my soul telling me that another creature is about to creep up on me. So I'm about to go in the house. So I'm gonna see y'all later. So thank you for watching.